Today I'm doing another acrylic pour, and I have covered a circular canvas in a deep phthalo blue, which I think is very pretty. I didn't have a lot of paint. I only had enough to sort of cover the center, but then I just picked up the canvas and tilted it in all directions, and it's more or less covered everywhere. Of course, my table is uneven, but that's okay. I know once I put the other colors on, it will spread out. And even while I'm standing here talking, it is spreading. It's continuing to spread, even though it seemed like there was very little paint on it. And I tilted it all around like this, over and over, so that the paint would go in all directions. And as you can see, only a little came off. And that's the way I like it. I don't like to waste a lot of paint, and I don't like to have to spread it with a spreader. It's better to just let it settle on its own. Anyway, I could see a few bubbles as when I lifted it up. That's the first time I could actually see the bubbles. But I'm not bothered, or bothered, as the comedian says, because I know that they will blow out when I blow out the painting. And if I lift it up now, okay, there I can see one maybe. I'm not sure if that's a bubble or a chunk of something. I hope it's not a chunk of something. And of course, when I put it flat, then I can't see it. So it will have to be what it will be. Hopefully it will blow off if it is something. Anyway, so now I'm going to put the colors on. And I'm doing a mixture of reds. And I'm putting on the magenta red first. And I'm going to knead both hands. But I'm going to put it on in little concentric circles all around, and with the other color red in between, and then gold over them, and then I'll come back and do another layer of each. So that's how they're looking now. The gold spreads out very quickly. I was thinking of putting gold in the center, but I don't know. I'm going to wait and see how these spread out. Maybe there's no need to add another color in the center, because I'm going to add, well, I'm thinking of swiping over them with some pearlescent gold. Now I'm adding the other red, which is more of a crimson red. And I do need to put the camera down. The first circle of reds, I first put on the magenta red, then the gold, and then the crimson red. And then on the outside, I did it in reverse. I first put on the crimson red, then the gold, and then the magenta red. So it's going to have some different results. And now I'm taking the pearlescent gold, and I had just enough gold to go around with the other. I'm going to take the pearlescent gold and swipe through that center part, and then I'll decide whether to continue swiping on the other parts. So not a lot of paint on my palette, but my palette knife, but just enough, I think, to swipe that center. So I'll just do a gentle swipe like that. Now I could blur that as well with the hairdryer, but I'll see. It's a bit difficult to do it with the camera in one hand, so again I'm going to put the camera down. So that's how the colours have come out after swiping them with the pearlescent gold. That one got a bit too much, I see, and that one not so much. Anyway, I'm going to blow them out. Now I could just tilt them and let them all run into each other, but I don't think that's a good idea. Not today. I'm going to blow them out from the centre and holding my hairdryer at quite a distance. I'm about, I don't know, a metre from the table, and I'll go in slowly just to see how much power I need for the hairdryer to take effect. So I think it came out quite beautifully, but I'm going to just, with a straw, I'm going to blow this little part here because I don't like it. And if I use the hairdryer, it's too strong, it just blows away everything. So that's better. It's really a pretty combination, and I'm sure it'll look even better once it's dry. Now I thought that the red would mix with the blue and make a purple, but I can't really see that happening. Maybe when it's dry, but right now I still see the blue being very blue. Well, now I'm going to leave it to set. I think it's really lovely, and there are hints of deep purple here and there in between the red parts. My only decision is to whether to let it dry completely and just leave it as an abstract bloom, or whether to let it settle and set a bit and then shape it into more of a rose. And it's really a hard decision today because I like the colours so much just as they are. But I will give it half an hour and then see how much it's settled and then decide. I love how these colours have turned out. It's really a very beautiful bloom, I think. And the pearlescent gold covered the blue, and it's actually a Prussian blue, not a ultramarine blue, I think I said before. It's a very dark Prussian blue, and here it has combined with the red to make a deep sort of mauve colour, but you can still see the blue in between. But anyway, I've decided that it's, although it's very pretty for somebody who likes abstract paintings, it would be perfect. But for me, I want to make it more of a rose, so I'm going to add more petals around. I'm not going to cover a lot. I'm using a filbert brush and pure pearlescent paint without anything added. And I'm just going to sort of add brush strokes of the gold to resemble petals around the edges here, to make layers. And you'll see it will be very light, so it will blend in with what's there. I really didn't want to cover the painting at all, just to make these marks in the areas between the petals. So really that was a bit more than I intended. But I think I need to first do a little bit in the center here, just to make more of a rose-shaped center. Although the gold did blow out nicely, it's just not enough. So this pearlescent paint definitely reacts very differently to the normal gold and other metallics. You can see there's a sheen of the pearlescent paint there, and then this is the pure gold. It's definitely given a sheen to the whole painting, so that you almost don't even need to do a varnish, but I will still do a varnish anyway, so I think it will add to it. But I mean, here you can see there, that's just pure pearlescent that's given it that sheen. So here I want to I do need to add a few more layers. Like here I can add a layer. Otherwise it's just too much of an abstract bloom. And I don't know how much this will show once it's dried. I mean, I might need to do another layer, or I might need to add some other darker paint. Like I've got this, it's called a, golly, I wish I could see, a permanent red violet. I think that would look nice as another layer in between. But let's see, maybe this will be enough. I'm hoping it will be enough. That's the final result of adding the pearlescent gold. And you can see it really does give an amazing sheen. It doesn't look like much when you first put it on, but you just carry on brushing and eventually you see it's really glowing. So much golder than I expected, but probably because the colors in the background are so dark, so it really shows up. I also could have used pearlescent violet, which I have, but I wanted to stick to the gold. So I think that's it for now. I'm happy with it. I could have left it the way it was, but I wanted to see if I could shape it into a more realistic looking rose. Although I liked the pearlescent gold at first, once it dried I realized it was just too intense. There's just too much gold. So I'm going to paint it away with some of the red that I used, and I hope that that's going to improve it. If not, I will just cover the whole canvas and redo it. So I'm going to just start here. I might leave a little of the gold. I'll see. I have left a little of the gold, the pearlescent gold, and covered the rest with this red. And I think it looks much better now. I think that there was enough gold to begin with, plus I had poured out gold, plus I had swiped with the pearlescent gold, so adding the extra gold to make the edges of the petals was the wrong thing to do. Although now with just a thin layer, it looks okay, but still it meant that I actually had to cover up some of the other gold because there was still just too much gold. So I've learned my lesson now that pearlescent gold on a dark background really does show up. Well, it's pearlescent yellow it's called, but it really does show up as a very bright gold. So when you use gold in a pour plus swipe with a pour, I think don't then also paint with the pearlescent gold. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little update and change of painting. I think it looks much better. I'm still thinking of just pouring over it because I don't really like it as a painting. But that's it for now. So please comment and let me know your thoughts.